στο λόγο. Ωνάση και Ιδρύματος Πρόεδρος.
Κώστας, it's a very great pleasure to be invited.
Και τα στελέχη του για τη διαδικασία που χρειάζεται να προβούν για να ανεβάσουν άνθρωπο σαν εμένα σε αυτό το επίπεδο. Και τα καλά νέα είναι ότι αυτό είναι μισές σελίδες, μισές. Και το κακά νέα είναι ότι θα σας τα πω στα ελληνικά. Αξιότιμες κυρίες και κύριοι, καθηγητά και φίλε Κώστα Γραμμένε, αγαπημένε φίλε, είναι μεγάλη μου τιμή να βρίσκομαι εδώ σε αυτήν την εορταστική εκδήλωση 40 ετών από τη δημιουργία του κέντρου Ναυτιλίας. Ναυτιλίας, Εμπορίου και Οικονομικών, Κώστας Γραμμένος. Μου ζητήθηκε να πει δύο λόγια, αλλά πάνω απ' όλα ήθελα και εγώ να αποτίσω το φόρο της τιμής που ανήκει και του οφείλω στο δημιουργό του κέντρου, δόκτωρα Κώστα Γραμμένο. Ο Κώστας δεν είναι μόνο φίλος αγαπημένος, αλλά υπήρξε και καθηγητής και μέντορας τόσο του γιού μου, όσο και του εγγόνου μου, του Παναγιώτη. Του είμαι ειλικρινά ευγνώμων για την πολύτιμη συμβολή του ως μέλος του Διοικητικού Συμβουλίου του Ιδρύματος μας Τσάκος. Τον Κώστα το γνώρισα για πρώτη φορά πριν από 50 τόσα χρόνια. Στα γραφεία της Εθνικής Τράπεζας της Ελλάδος στην Αχτή Μιαούλη, στο γραφείο που τούτε, όπου τότε ο Κώστας υπηρετούσε σαν σύμβουλος στο υποκατάστημα της Εθνικής Τραπέζης και στο γραφείο, εγώ το γνώρισα στο γραφείο του άλλου μας φίλου, του Δημήτρη Παυλίδη, και από εκεί βέβαια κατά τη διάρκεια των 50 ετών είμαστε σε επαφή, παρόλο που πορευτήκαμε σε παράλληλα μονοπάτια. Για μένα ήταν μεγάλη χαρά να παρακολουθώ και με μεγάλη περηφάνεια να θαυμάζω τα έργα του. Ο καθηγητής Κώστας Γραμμένος, όπως πολύ καλά γνωρίζετε, πολλές παρατές έχει και είναι χαρισματικός, καινοτόμος, οραματιστής και παθιασμένος με ό,τι καταπιάνεται. Ωστόσο, η πιο σημαντική επαγγελματική του επιτυχία υπήρξε η ίδρυση του κέντρου Ναυτιλίας. Ναυτιλίας, Εμπορίου και Χρηματοοικονομικών ερευνών, το οποίο αξιοκρατικά φέρει το όνομά του. Το κέντρο αποτέλεσε ορόσημο για την βιομηχανία των θαλασσίων μεταφορών, θέτοντας την ναυτιλία στο επίκεντρο της ακαδηματικής έρευνας και της παγκόσμιας προβολής της, συνιστώντας ένα πρωτοπόρο ναυτιλιακό κόμβο στο Ηνωμένο Βασίλειο και στις αγορές του Δυτικού Ημισφαιρίου. Μετά από 40 χρόνια συνεχών επιτυχιών, πιστεύω ότι μπορούμε με βεβαιότητα να ισχυριστούμε πως το κέντρο Κωνσταγραμμένου έθεσε τα στέρεα θεμέλια στις σύγχρονες ναυτιλιακές σπουδές άλλων πανεπιστημίων, όλων των πανεπιστημίων των ελληνικών, και διακόνησε, και όχι μόνο, και διακόνησε μια ολόκληρη γενιά ηγετών της ναυτιλίας. Πολλοί από αυτούς τους ηγέτες κατέχουν σήμερα εξαίρουσες θέσεις στον ναυτιλιακό χώρο και συνεχίζουν να αφήνουν το ανεξίτηλο απότιμά τους στον κλάδο. Είμαστε τυχεροί που έχουμε πολλούς από αυτούς εδώ, μεταξύ των οποίων και το γιο μου, τον Νίκο. Το Ίδρυμα Μαρία Τσάκος, αναγνωρίζοντας την προσφορά του κέντρου, είναι υπερήφανη που το υποστηρίζει ουσιαστικά με την παροχή επί σειρά ετών υποτροφιών σε φοιτητές που διακρίνονται με τις επιδόσεις τους. Και θα ήθελα στο σημείο αυτό να τονίσω ότι η ίδρυση του κέντρου έπαιξε καταλυτικό ρόλο στην ίδρυση τμήματων ναυτιλιακών σπουδών στα ελληνικά πανεπιστήμια του Πειραιά και του Αιγαίου. Και να εκφράσω την ελπίδα ότι θα μπορέσουμε να αξιοποιήσουμε τη σοφία του καθηγητού Γραμμένου ώστε να πιστούν οι επαΐοντες να ιδρύσουν έδρα ναυτιλίας στην Ακαδημία Αθηνών σε αναγνώριση της ανά τους αιώνες ναυτοσύνης των Ελλήνων. Η δημιουργία μιας τέτοιας έδρας θα αναγνώρισε επίσης τη ζωτική σημασία της Ναυτιλίας για την ελληνική οικονομία και την πολιτιστική μας κληρονομιά. Και ο Κώστας ο Γραμμένος βέβαια θα εξαιρείται από τους υποψηφίους. Σε προσωπικό επίπεδο, στα τέλη της δεκαετίας του 80, ο Κώστας Γραμμένος υπήρξε ο πρώτος που τράβηξε την προσοχή της ναυτιλιακής βιομηχανίας στις ευκαιρίες που παρήχαν οι αγορές δημόσιες και ιδιωτικές. Μεταξύ των πρώτων που κατενόησαν την ευκαιρία που παρήχε το κέντρο του Κώστα ήταν ο γιος μου Νίκος, ο οποίος μετά την αποφοιτησή του ένιωσε τόσο καλά προκατηθισμένος και με τόση αυτοπεποίθηση για όσα είχε μάθει, ώστε να προχωρήσει αμέσως, χωρίς χρονοτριβή, χωρίς καθόλου να προχωρήσει αμέσως, στη σύσταση μιας από τις πρώτες, αν όχι πρώτης, εισηγμένης ελληνικής εταιρείας στο χρηματιστήριο της Νέας Υόρκης και έτσι άνοιξε ίσως τον δρόμο και για πολλούς άλλους. Η ναυτιλία μας στηρίζεται στον άνθρωπο. Στον άνθρωπο, στην παράδοση, στην αυτοσύνη μας. Αν τη χάσουμε αυτήν την κληρονομιά, ο τόπος θα χάσει και η Ελλάδα θα χάσει τον ηγετικό της ρόλο στο παγκόσμιο επίπεδο. Η κληρονομιά αυτή την οφείλουμε να προστατεύσουμε σαν κόριο φθαλμού, αυτήν την κληρονομιά, αν θέλουμε να εξασφαλίσουμε το μέλλον μας. Είμαι βέβαιος ότι το κέντρο Ναυτιλίας, Εμπορίου και Οικονομικών Κώστας Γραμμένος θα συνεχίσει να υπάρχει και να αναβαθμίζει το όραμα του, οδηγώντας τις επόμενες γενναίες σε ένα καλύτερο μέλλον, πολύ πέρα από την 100η του επέτειου. Και όπως έγραψε και ο Νικόλας Μonsανά, η ναυτική με την έμφυτη αίσθηση της τάξης, της υπηρεσίας και της πειθαρχίας θα έπρεπε να διοικούν τον κόσμο. Σαν ναυτικός αυτό δεν μπορούσα να μην το εκφράσω. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
Έχω πολλά να πω. Είναι ολόκληρη ιστορία, φωτογραφίες, θα τις δείτε. Έχω δύο φωτογραφίες. Ο Νίκος ο Τσάκος. Δεν ξέρω πώς θα βγουνε, αλλά ας δούμε και αν χρειαστεί στο τέλος θα τις βάλουμε εμβόλυμες. Βρήκα δύο φωτογραφίες παλιές, παλιά και καινούργια. Και ladies and gentlemen, as I was looking all these photographs, you know, I started thinking about my life. Because, yes, there are 40 years, but before these 40 years there are another at least 20 years of preparation. And I will explain to you later what do I mean by preparation. So, and you start thinking even your grandfathers. I had a grandfather from Corfu and another from Mani, tough guy, and very kind one as well, like the area of Mani. And the Corfian one, both of them were officers of the Greek Royal Navy, and the Corfian one became a priest in 1936. And I was wondering why. I discovered later on that there was a very long tradition when they prepared for me my family tree in Corfu. They have all the data. It's amazing, from 1455 in great detail. So there were at least 15 priests and 6 protopapes. Protopapas, first priest, is in those years the Phoenicians were the ones who had the Corfu. They were around Corfu. So the Venetians did not allow to have a bishop, but you had in his place, you had a protopapas. So the only difference, the protopapes got married and they had children, and that's why I'm here, because they were allowed to have children. So and you think about your parents, your mother, you think about your father, and you also think the family, your cousins, and then you think of your father-in-law and your mother-in-law. So and your friends who exist, who do not exist. I mean, life is beautiful anyway. Yes, it is beautiful, but life is what we all know. Now, how did I start? Well, this one, Bank Finance for Sea Purchase book. This is based in what I was doing with National Bank of Greece. I joined National Bank of Greece in 1962, and I stayed there until 1975. It was under a scheme which was established by the then governor of National Bank of Greece, Helmis, Dimitrios Helmis, an excellent governor of the bank. So they recruited 35 young people from the gymnasium, from the school, because they have graduated with very high marks. They introduced a school for banking executives, only for a National Bank of Greece, and these guys had to go for 8 years and to go to every department of the bank, which means that you learn a lot about banking, everything actually. So it was a great scheme, but it lasted only 3 years, because the other guys, I mean the colleagues at the bank, who were not members of that particular league, they kicked it out. So it stopped. But anyway, for 100 people at least went there through this scheme. So I was able to collect files, large files of loans from the bank and from other banks that were cooperating. And I was able to gather information, files of this size. So they were approximately 660, 665. So, and that's how the bank finance for ship purchase came out. It was based on this files and on the statistical analysis that I did, and I brought this framework of credit analysis and credit policy for shipping finance, which was introduced and adopted by all the major international banks in the late 70s and early 80s. It changed my life, I have to say. It changed my life, and I became known because it was published by Bangor University, where I was doing my master's and then research. Bangor occasional paper in economics. Jack Revel was in charge, the best professor in Europe for banking, and I'm so grateful to Jack Revel. He has gone, of course, but you know, it all started from that book. I have to say, before I wrote the book, I took some notes. And I was thinking, what should I do? I was putting down the notes. And here is a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, Andrew Tsavliris. And I asked him, can you see this? What do you think? And he made some comments on this, which I took I kept it aside, and when I produced the whole thing, the book, there were a few things which were pinpointed by Andreas Tsavliris. So I'm very thankful to Andreas. On the 29th of March, 1982, I had a lunch with the then Dean of the Business School, CABS, City University Business School, Professor Brian Griffiths. So we had a good lunch at Bill Bentley's, and we discussed what we can do. I mean, I was known due to the book in the City of London, and he was a very new dean, a few months. I think early in the same year he was appointed as dean. So, and he told me, let's do an evening MBA with some compulsory units and then some electives in shipping and in other sectors. I said, leave it aside and we'll discuss it. And he gave me the address of the business school here, Barbican Center. It was in the Barbican. Nobody knew when I was asking where is the business school, because there were no signposts. But anyway, I went there and we changed our views, and I told him, no, we have to create a center and we have to create a couple of master's degrees. He accepted it. Not all the members of the board of studies have been persuaded by Brian, and perhaps I should say now, he said, if this is not going to be accepted, then I'm going to resign as dean. So there were 5 who had not been persuaded, and another 9 who had said yes. Eventually it went through. Here is Brian.
Kostas, it's a very great pleasure to be invited to celebrate with you today this remarkable achievement of yours. I'm very sorry that I'm not able to be there in person, but unfortunately I have parliamentary responsibilities which I just have to attend to. Kostas, when I look back when we started, it was extraordinary, the opposition that we achieved. It was as if the world was against us, and you and I were standing together against our colleagues, the university, and everybody, somebody. But what you've achieved is really remarkable over the past 40 years. You've established the world's leading business school in the field of shipping and finance, which is an extraordinary achievement. You've also trained and touched the lives of so many young people, and you've engaged the school with the shipping companies themselves and ancillary companies and so on. And you've done, I think, what a real business school should always do, which is bring learning and the companies together. And for me, I have to say, you've been a fantastic friend. And I've greatly admired you as a leader. You're a great leader, you have tremendous integrity, tremendous values. And I just would like to wish you the very best celebration today. You could not have done it without Anna and without Theo behind you. And I'd also like to celebrate them today. So have a wonderful time, Kostas. Thank you very much.
Brian is Lord Griffiths, and one of the most well-known lords. Sir Grande was the chairman of the British Shipbuilders, and he was before professor at the University of Dalhousie in Canada. Then he became chairman of British Shipbuilders, and then he became one of the most important managers worldwide. I mean, he was chairman of very large organizations, institutions. So, Graham introduced me Dr. Martin Stopford. I mean, many of you know him very, very well. And he said, Martin is in charge of our research. He's an excellent academic, so he can teach for you. Because I was telling him, but who is going to teach shipping economics? Some new things. I mean, I want some new things there. So, Martin Stopford. And he taught actually shipping economics, commodity trade. For the first time it was taught at the university level, shipping finance, of course. And these are the two courses which later on Michael Tambakis continued with so great success and expanded the area. So let's see what in a video Martin Sofo says.
Hi everybody, and thanks so much for inviting me to join you this evening. My first meeting with Kostas came completely out of the blue. In 1983 I was a director of British Shipbuilders, and Sir Graham Day, our chairman, arranged a lunch with Professor Grammenos, who explained that he was setting up a new course called Shipping, Trade and Finance. Later on in London, over a delicate meal cooked by Kostas himself, he's a man of many talents, Kostas asked me to develop the international commodity trade and transport model. That was my speciality, and I was absolutely delighted to do it. The course that we developed had 9 lectures with voluminous notes. In fact, I heard afterwards that some of the students were betting on whether I'd get the notes out in time for each lecture, which I think I always did, in fact. And lecturing from 5 to 9 in the evening was certainly a novel experience, which was certainly in good stead afterwards. In 1984, just a few weeks into the first term, I got a Kostas call. Martin, could you take over the shipping economics course? Not a very good imitation, is it? Sorry, Kostas. Well, anyway, I was absolutely delighted to do this because I was in the middle of drawing together the first drafts for my book Maritime Economics, and it was a brilliant chance to get to work on that. So I carried on lecturing on economics as well as trade, and until the early 1990s I was doing those 2 courses with the help of Michael Tamvakis, who's now a professor. And when I handed over the last 2 courses, I was full of admiration with the way Kostas had managed to build such a great stream of students and to develop the course so efficiently. Kostas, your institute has become a resounding success. The business school, the City of London, and the global shipping industry have all benefited enormously, and the alumni who are gathered here today will lead the industry towards the challenging times which we all know lie ahead. Congratulations, Kostas, to you and to your alumni who will carry your inspiration ahead with them. Thank you.
The next one, 1984, the Center for Shipping Trade and Finance launched. You will see some faces here. We are younger. And on the left-hand side, you have Sir Geoffrey Howe. He's the Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom. Next to him, Brian Griffiths, Professor Griffiths, not Lord Griffiths. Next to him, myself. And then I see Andrew Tsavlidis with Sir Geoffrey Howe. And then, in this one, you can see a much younger, or 3 much younger guys. And one is Captain Panagiotis. So there is a proof here that we have been younger. And next is Simios Mitropoulos, who was senior director of the IMO, and he has a moustache. Where is your moustache? No moustache. And on the right-hand side is John Hatzipateras, the head of Greek Cooperation Committee with someone else. Here is a Graham Day, who introduces the full-time MSc in Shipping Trade and Finance, because it started on a part-time basis and after a year became Shipping Trade and Finance. And the center develops the spherical or global approach. What it is, this spherical or global approach? What we introduced is we look at a company when we make an analysis, shipping company, we look on a micro basis, management, finances, operations of the company, and then we look at the external parameters. For instance, world industrial production, seaborne trade, commodities, interest rates, exchange rates, finance sources. So that was the global approach. And also we introduced concept of theory and practice. From the very beginning we believe that without theory, academia, and practice, cooperation of academia with the business world, is the only way that the students are going to be welcome to any job, first of all, and also what we did is we decided to bring the school into the city and then to bring the city into the school for cooperations. And we did it very successfully, I have to say. Now here, the first students graduate from the MSc in 1987 is the year that Nikos was graduated. And unfortunately there, I don't have a photo where he is holding some flowers with the other students. So it was a very proud day for the centers. First students' graduation and the degree ceremonies in 1987. Then in 1989, we have our first conference, Shipping, Investment and Finance in the 90s and beyond. You can see Dr. Papakristides, who is giving a speech, a shipowner, Greek stroke international shipowner. He was living abroad. In the middle, the man with the white hair is the head of cell for transportation, for shipping, and several other sectors, I mean globally. And the one who is sitting on the right is Tsakos, a young graduate, and on the left-hand side, at the end, the head, that head, belongs to Stelios Hadjioannou, who graduated that year, and next to him is Vesti Høeg of Vesti Høeg, shipowner from Norway. We had approximately 700 people attending this conference. It was our first one. And in 1990, I thought that it would be very good for us to see some leading Norwegians who will present about Norwegian shipping and make presentations, and we'll discuss. On the right-hand side with the glasses, but on the right-hand side is Vesti Høeg, one of the big families, shipowning families in Norway. And then in the middle is Haga, Magnum Haga, who was a banker. And then Jacob Stolt-Nielsen, another big shipowner in Norway, an international one, I have to say. He was one of the first who used private placement to raise funds. And actually, I have kept a contract, and the contract, which was the private placement memorandum. I attended it. I attended the presentation, his presentation to investment bankers, and he gave me the private placement memorandum, the contract. It was only 7 pages. Now, if you do it now, it will be 100 pages. Simple as that. That's the big change. I mean, ever. Now, also, we had a symposium on safety in shipping and protection of the marine environment. We were, again, the first that we discussed about protection of the marine environment. And who else was the appropriate person to speak, the appropriate speaker? The Secretary General of IMO, William O'Neill, Bill O'Neill. And here is a symposium towards the 21st century from the City of London. Another mega event. And the ones who discussed various topics were David Rowland, chairman of Lloyd's, Richard Lambert, editor of Financial Times, and Andrew Buxton, chairman of Barclays Bank, under the chairmanship of Lord Howe of Aberystwyth. Sir Geoffrey Howe had become a lord, and I have to say, he was always next to us. Her Majesty the Queen awards Kώσtas Γραμμένος, the OOP, Officer of British Empire, in recognition of his services to international shipping and finance. And Stelios, 1994, is the centenary year of City University. Stelios, Sir Stelios Hadjioannou, Stelios renamed his tanker City University to celebrate City University centenary. We had actually one airplane, one train, and one tanker, which were named City University. Right. This is in 1998. I received the Sea Trade Personality of the Year award, and it was presented by His Royal Highness Prince Philip. Prince Philip was the royal consort, that is to say, the husband of Queen Elizabeth. He was not a king, and his official title was royal consort. It was a very interesting evening. There were presentations for shipping companies, I think 4 presentations with 3 shipping companies, which we are going to get an award for various reasons. I don't remember the reason. but they were presented. However, the personality of the year didn't know from the beginning that he is going to get the prize. And here is Mr. Themistoklis Vώκos, who an hour before warned me that I'm going to get the Personality of the Year award, and I have to prepare my speech. So at that time I had a beautiful, great time. We were drinking, discussing, and the other guys, because it was a big dinner and a big banquet, I would say. And I had to prepare the thing. So anyway, then we had the trumpeters who announced the announcement of the decision. So my name was announced, and I went up to the podium. I said, I turned to His Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this and that. And I thank the members of my staff, the students, the graduates, all the ones, not by name, all the ones who have been cooperating for so long. And then at the end I said, I thank my wife. Without her, I don't think I would have done anything. But there is something else here. My wife is an archaeologist. She was a prehistoric archaeologist at the University of Athens for 43 years. So my wife is an archaeologist, and I'm a very privileged person, because as the time passes by, she finds me more interesting. Prince Philip. He started doing this, he stood up and started doing this. I had met him a number of times, because when you have a member of the royal family, they pick up a few, 5 or 6, and they present them to him or to any member of the royal family. And then this member asks you very specific questions, and you believe that he knows everything about you. Then, after a period of time, I understood that, you know, they are very, very well informed, very, very well informed, and that's all. Because whenever he saw me, oh yes, you are Professor. He didn't remember the name. Oh yes, of course, you are this, you have done that, but not exactly. After that, he always remembered me. How is your wife? Did she find something in the excavation? Do you have any news? I mean, that was the critical moment. Right. I was awarded the DSc, Doctor of Science, is the highest academic accolade, and it was due to my published research, and in particular the academic book Bank Finance for Ship Purchase. And then the first City of London biennial meeting, 1999. It was a very big event. We had a photograph with this one in front of the city university at the entrance. this is a very small part of the speakers that they had been gathered. So, on the first row, you have now Lord Griffiths. Next to him is Lord Bagri, the chairman of the Metal Exchange. Next to him is Eddie George, the governor of the Bank of England, and then Geoffrey Howe, then William O'Neill. Also, next to Bill is Dame Judith Mayhew. She was in charge of the London Corporation, that is to say, the organization that controls the City of London. The City of London, not London, the City of London. And there are also, I can see, Hugh McCoy, chairman of the Baltic Exchange, Max Taylor, the white hair behind Geoffrey Howe, and he was the chairman of Lloyd's. Who else? And anyway, did I say Andrew Buxton, the chairman of Barclays? Yeah. And the Bishop of London. So, Lord Bagri, he was, I think, the first Indian lord who came from India. He started from scratch, from nothing, an empire. This group, which has companies which produce metals, refineries, very interesting international business, I would say. His son continued this business, and we have a video. His son is everywhere. Now he is traveling to Japan this moment, privately, and he sent this.
Congratulations on the 40th anniversary of the Center of Shipping, Trade and Finance. Shipping, Trade, Energy and Finance. So we need to go back to 1984 when this journey started, when you came up with the extraordinary, at that time, novel idea of bringing together different disciplines and weaving them together. Weaving them together in a set of master's programs that were taught at the university, but more than that, weaving them together in a way that allowed the creation of the City Biennial program and of this program here in Piraeus. And it's not just these two programs, but the scholarship that you brought has crossed across many, many boundaries. And of course today we have almost 4,500 graduates from 16 countries who've come through the program directly in terms of degrees. But there are tens of thousands of us who have benefited from your scholarship, from the way in which you foresaw 40 years ago, the way in which the world would evolve and the way it would change, and the way in which these disciplines would essentially be one. Because everything we do today in the world of shipping is related to trade, is related to finance, and vice versa. So Professor Grammenos, a huge, huge thank you from all of us. Thank you, Kostas, for everything that you have done and everything you have created and what you have built. My father was a part of your great adventure 40 years ago. And I'm really proud that in a small way I've been able to participate since then, as a speaker, as a participant, as an observer, and as someone who has benefited and learned from your wisdom, your humanity, and your scholarship. And I know I speak for everyone in the room and everyone way beyond this room when we thank you, congratulate you, and hope that the next 5-10 years of the Centre will be as exciting as the history to date. Thank you so much.
In 2002, the Handbook of Maritime Economics and Business is launched. It was my idea to write with another 50 international known academics to write the book. It's more than 1,000 pages, of course. They came from 30 universities and 19 countries, all of whom were members of the International Association of Maritime Economists, IAME. I was president of IAME for 5 years, and including 5 members of the center staff. Nikos Nomikos is around.
Yes. Here,
well, anyway, he's one of them, one of the 5. And Michael Tabakis. Now, renaming, First Athens Triennial Symposium, the first one. We wanted to discuss about, at the time, about major issue of the world economy, and we had a section for Greek economy as well at the time, and businesses. At the first symposium, the one who was the keynote speaker was the Prime Minister of Greece, Dr. Karamanlis, and actually he was also Prime Minister who was the keynote speaker again for the second the second Athens Triennial Symposium, and it had become a triennial meeting. And the photograph is from that event, and you know, I was looking, and on the second line I can see you with moustache, and I'm not sure whether next to you is Captain Panagiotis. I'm not sure. We have to look at it later on. Then the next one is the renaming of the center. It was one day that I went to St. Mary's Hospital representing the university. I was Pro-Vice Chancellor, second in command after the Vice Chancellor who was the president of the university. So I was representing the university for the promotion of someone in the medical school, but we had links and I had to be there as university. So as I was coming out, I looked up and I saw a plaque which was dedicated to Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming found the penicillin, as you know, and he was working for that particular hospital. So I saw the plaque, I continued, and here is the telephone which rings, and David Ryan, this jubilant man with the 2 newspapers, is on the phone, and he said, Kostas, you know, the university decided that we will rename the center and it will become the Kostas Gramμένο Center for Shipping, Trade and Finance. I had seen that one of Fleming, and I said, hold on a second, I want to pinch my hand to test I have woken up. Why? Because I always thought that you normally get your name in your center, in the center, in a university, in a class, when you are horizontal, not vertical. And she said, pinch whatever you want. However, I suppose the answer is yes. Yes, the answer is yes. And then the center was renamed. We started a fundraising campaign for the center with a target 8 million, and in order to secure a permanent and independent future for the Kostas Gramμένο Center for Shipping, Trade and Finance, with a law there. It went extremely well. We raised much more, and there are certain funds for the center. I never touched these funds, never. While we had the right to use the funds for traveling, for this and that, we never touched them. That's it. Michael Tambaki's book, Commodity Trade and Finance, was launched. It's a book, an excellent one, which is taught at the school, but also it is taught elsewhere, I mean at other universities. And it continues after so many years, of course he has changed the book, to be one of the leading ones, if not the leading one. Now, Her Majesty the Queen awards Kostas Grammenos the CBE, Commander of the British Empire, for services to teaching and research. Peter Mandelson, who was first secretary at the time, presented me with a CBE. Now why? Because I had decided at the time not to apply for a citizenship. I was keeping my passport, a Greek passport, but there was not any particular reason. Trade and Finance, because we granted the three. In that particular, no doubt, be recognized as the most high academic accolade worldwide. What I mean by this? I mean, I'm paying attention on what I'm saying, because these are, we have Nobel Prizes, one Nobel Prize in economics, nothing else. So they can give it for this, for that, and that, in various areas of economics. We have 3: shipping, trade, and finance, international trade and finance, in a place which has a history at least 350 years in this area, in shipping, in trade and finance, and on top of that, these were the 3 areas that Onassis excelled in 7. So this is from that event. He's the president of the Ωνάση Foundation. At the white tie dinner, banquet, to be more precise, in the Guild Hall of the City of London. Approximately 400 people are attending, well-known personalities. In 2013, I was appointed Commander of the Order of the Phoenix by the President of Democracy here. In 2015, shipping 2015 and beyond, Hamburg triennial meeting. We started a triennial meeting there, which coincided with the 30th anniversary celebration, hosted by Peter Duller, one of the leading shipowner's in Germany and major businessman, European businessman. And in 2017, Bangor University awarded an honorary fellowship for the services into business. What means services into business? It means that we introduce the cooperation of businesses under the university roof with the businesses in the city of London and other international cities. And that was the thing which Bangor University thought it was a great development, and that made me honorary fellow. Now, another one. I received 2018 Laureus List Global Awards Lifetime Achievement, but now is for you this. Through educating, mentoring and inspiring, that was the formal announcement. Multi-generation of shipping executives, Professor G has arguably shaped the modern shipping industry as we know it, through the great students that we have, great graduates. Simple as that. And then I was awarded an honorary doctorate by the University of the Aegean. I can see on the left-hand side, I don't know, is Professor Serafim Kapros, and at the very end you can see, I doubt that you can see, a head. This is the head of Professor, of a very well-known professor. Is he here? Because I can't see her. I'm referring to Helen Thanopoulou. Ah, she's here. All right, Helen, is your head at the very end. In 2024, I received an honorary doctorate by the School of Humanities, Social Science and Economics of the International Hellenic University at the amphitheater of the University in Thessaloniki, and the amphitheater of this university was renamed after me. So I became part of the furniture. I mean, they are doing now, and they used to do it with Professor Kaisis as well. I saw Professor Kaisis somewhere here. But they are doing a very, very good job. Very good job. Now what I'm going to do here, I don't know. You know, we should not press the buttons, all right, thank you so much. Lord Sterling.
And very important, the 7th, the anniversary of the huge massacre of people in Israel. I'm an English Jew, and we must make certain nothing like this ever happens again. Now, Kostas, of course, many of you may not be aware, that Kostas' family, and particularly the male members of the family, going back through generations, became senior officers in the Royal Greek Navy. And his mother was hugely upset when he felt that he would like to do something different. In practice, of course, if he had gone into the Greek Navy, we'd probably finish up with the Admiral commanding the whole lot. Nevertheless, his grandfather was very helpful indeed. He had a marvellous career, and at a very early age, about 19, he had the opportunity of being at the Central Greek Bank, and later on, as you well know, very much involved in the Greek Bank. He's probably one of the most remarkable men I've ever met in my life. I'm not going to go into that because you all know it backwards, and what he created, and the great school you've already been celebrating, etc. Some years ago, I went to see Sir Jeremy Hayward, probably one of the most powerful cabinet secretaries of all time, and suggested that it would be great if Kostas could receive an honorary CBE, which he did to this day. And I've decided that now I want to use my best endeavours to obtain a British knighthood for Kostas. And if I may say, Sir Kostas and Lady Gamaros, sounds all right to me. Finally, most important of all, that wonderful lady, Anna, his wife. For Kostas, she is the most important person in his life. Thank you.
The only thing is, I don't think I'm going to apply for a passport. But anyway, and ladies and gentlemen, this thing has been made by Dr. Papapostolou, and he tells me that I have to say we have 4,400 graduates from 160 countries, 150 publications plus in peer-reviewed academic journals and books in LinkedIn. You forgot it. And 500 seminars, lectures, presentations, 500 plus, yes, as we say. And over 35 mega international meetings in London, Athens, and elsewhere. Yeah. This is my life, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Our historian son, is not here. He is dealing with his research. That's the thing that he loves most. But my wife Anna is here, and as I'm repeating, nothing will have achieved. Nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know me, I'm Anna Gramμένο, professor's wife. You know, I don't know if all of you know me. Two only words, because I'm so moved I have this very emotional, and I'm scared that my voice will not be steady all the time. They will be away, and I don't want that. Two words. First, I want to thank Kostas for the wonderful journey he offered me all these 40 years for the creation of the center. On purpose, use this word, offer me, on purpose, I repeat it. I followed every step of this creation. I do not dare to say that I share these steps. No, I only follow from a distance. Closer, he knows. He has the answer. I don't know. But what I felt all these 40 years, both of us adore music. And it was like a crescendo. All the story of the creation of a center. It started with difficulties, hard work, hard work, hard work, as his motto. The first achievement, the first words of admiration that surrounded his name, and at the end, the international recognition, urbi et orbi. I cannot find more proper words than these two Latin words, urbi et orbi. I know, all of us know, that of course they do not apply, generally speaking, these two words, but on the occasion for Kostas and for the international enthusiasm of all, and all the acceptance that he had from all over the world, with the 5,000 students, all you and all the prominent people that around him, of course, I can use only these two words, urbi et orbi, because he deserved it. And I know that you say the same, that he deserved it. To conclude, Costa, that's for you. 1 minute ago, I spoke in front of this distinguished audience about the creation of the center. Now, I'm speaking personally to you, again in front of this distinguished audience, because I want them to know. I want them to know that I don't know thank you so much for this 40 years of creation of the center, but much more than that. I want to express my deepest gratitude. I'm grateful for you, to you, for the 57 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the number is forever. I want to explain again, to explain my gratitude. Gratitude, really I'm grateful for the 57 years we share life together. And as the song says, Costa, those were the days we were young then.